Hello everyone and welcome back to My Opinion. In this video I'll be previewing the second test match of the series taking place between England and New Zealand. This match will be taking place at the Oval. Let's get into this preview. Before I continue, apologies if you hear any noise in the background. There's some renovation work going on at home and I found a spot where the noise may be minimized. But in spite of that, if you hear noise, and apologies for that, let's get into this preview. Starting off with the scoring trends at this venue in the last 6 test matches, they are as follows. Batting first has won 4 times, batting second has won twice. The average first innings score being 268, the average second innings score being 258, the average third innings score being 309, and the average fourth innings score being 249. Now, traditionally, an explanation for those values, the first innings score on the first day will be good to bat, which is why I think teams that win the toss have got to bat first at the Oval. And something which you saw, which was atypical to that, was in the test match, the final test match of the India versus England series. India were bowled up for 224 in seaming conditions and still managed to win the match as the pitch got better to bat on. In the second innings on day 2 is when the ball will start seaming around. The bowlers will come into play more, and that's why there is a lesser average second innings score than the average first innings score. And on the third and fourth days, the pitch will traditionally become more like a subcontinental surface. We saw this in the World Test Championship final of 2023 between India and Australia, where batting was easier on the third and fourth days. And on day 5, it will become difficult to bat, which is why the average fourth innings score is lower, where spinners will also come into play on a traditional surface. But if we're considering the surface that we saw between India and England in the final test match, then seamers were the one who did the bulk of the bowling. And that's the reason why, especially given England's 11 that they've named, I think they may give a similar surface to that. But I think that the team that wins the toss has got to bat first. Let's get into the playing 11s. England have named their playing 11, Ben Duckett, Emilio Gay, Jacob Bedell, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Jamie Smith, subject to availability, Jordan Cox, Jofra Archer, Josh Tongue, Matthew Fisher, Sonny Baker. And I'd said traditionally that spin comes into play on the last day. And given the criticism of the pitch from the first test match, I thought before this 11 was named, I thought they would go the more traditional route and there'd be a spot for Shoaib Bashir. But given this 11 where the only spinners are Joe Root and Jacob Bedell, they may go towards the route of the test match that we saw between England and India, where it's a seaming surface early on, especially difficult to bat, and then it gets easier as the test match progresses. So that's what they may look to do. And Ollie Robinson he's going to miss this test match due to injury. They haven't named a replacement, but then they named this 11, so they're just going with that. And I thought James Drew would play ahead of Jordan Cox. James Drew's been scoring many centuries on the county circuit. They've gone with Jordan Cox. They've gone with a pure batsman to replace Ben Stokes rather than an all-rounder. In terms of all-rounders, maybe Craig Overton could have been a shout because Jamie Overton, after the India series, I think for a few months he said that he wouldn't be available for selection in red ball cricket. So I think Craig Overton was the only option there, but they haven't gone with him. They've gone with a full batsman, so they've gone with the 4 seamers. Sonny Baker's a good fast bowler. I saw him bowl in the 100, I think, the previous season. He'll be getting his debut now. Matthew Fish is also a steady bowler. I think he plays for Surrey. Jofra Archer is back for the second test match, and we've seen Josh Tongue from before. As I said, there was some criticism of the pitch in the first test match, and based off what this team looks like, we may see a bit of that seam movement in the first couple of days, but it may ease out. So I think that's what the indication that this 11 gives. And if England win the toss, they've got to bat first. Let's get on to New Zealand's 11. And now for New Zealand, this is how I have gone for them. Tom Latham, Devon Conway, Will Young, Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, Tom Blundell, Mitchell Santner, Nathan Smith, Carl Jamieson, Matt Henry, Will O'Rourke. Now, I wrote this 11 before England named theirs. So considering how the pitch may play out, if they think spinners won't have as much of a role, then they can continue playing Glenn Phillips ahead of Mitchell Santner. And Kane Williamson's retired, so Will Young, I've got him to take his place, but I thought Will Young should have been included in the squad from before. Tom Latham is a technically sound player, but he's not been consistent. Devon Conway hasn't been in form in any format. So I think leaving out Will Young, has played well, and you saw how he played in India as well. Leaving him out, I didn't think it was advisable, and we saw that the batting was found wanting in the first Test match, so that's how it goes. So I don't have much more to say on New Zealand. I thought that Will Young should have been included in the squad from the start, and this is how I think they would go. All the fast bowlers would retain their places. The only conundrum is whether Mitchell Santner or Glenn Phillips plays, depending on the surface, and if they win the toss, they have also got to bat first. Now let's get to who has got the edge depending on the conditions. And on day one, it'd be good to bat. Looking at the top four, where you won't lose wickets early: Ben Duckett, Emilio Gay, Jacob Bedell, Joe Root for England, compared with Tom Latham, Devon Conway, Will Young, Rachin Ravindra for New Zealand. And Ben Duckett, he didn't have a great Ashes, but I think he scored a double century in the county circuit, and he's done well in England. Emilio Gay is a very good player. He scored a 56 in the first Test match. And Jacob Bedell, we saw what he did in Australia. And Joe Root, we know what he's done for many years. Tom Latham, technically sound player. Is he consistent? No. Devon Conway's been out of form for a while. Will Young is a very good player, technically sound. Rachin Ravindra has been doing very well in tests. So I'd say that while New Zealand still have some positives in the top four, I'd say the edge goes to England overall. And in the middle order, Harry Brook, Jamie Smith, if he's available, then Jordan Cox, compared with Darren Mitchell, Tom Blundell, and one of Mitchell Santner and Glenn Phillips. But I think if you're comparing the runs that Harry Brook on a good day will score, and if you're looking at the other players combined, no disrespect to them, they're all good players. Darren Mitchell, he can score big, but is he consistent? No. Tom Blundell, is he consistent? No. And Glenn Phillips, he's not someone who's going to score big runs in Test cricket. So I think that England's middle order has got the edge there. And the seamers for England: Jofra Archer, Josh Tongue, Matthew Fisher, Sonny Baker, compared with Nathan Smith, Kyle Jamieson, Matt Henry, Will O'Rourke. I'm going to give this bowling edge to New Zealand because all four played the previous Test match and they bowled. Or Matt Henry didn't bowl much in the first innings. I don't know why, but he bowled in the second innings, so maybe he will play here. And there hasn't been any news of him not being fit as far as I've read. And for England, Sonny Baker is a good bowler. He's inexperienced. Jofra Archer, he's returning, but he's still an explosive bowler. Josh Tongue, he bowls well but can go for runs. Matthew Fisher is a steady bowler, so I'd still say New Zealand have got the bowling edge, the fast bowling edge, but in the other parameters, England have got the edge, so I think they're favourites to win the second Test match. We'll see what happens if you enjoy this video. Please subscribe, share with friends. This is my opinion. Watch it.